No doubt, and there is an adjustment period for both players and coaches, and he's been going through that transition, but it's not near the transition as his schedule. It's been tough.
Yeah, he has a big-time schedule this year. They opened up at Vanderbilt. They've played at West Virginia. They have played at Ohio State. Now Coach McGuire has them here in Tuscaloosa. So you might as well jump in and see what the team's made of. As we are set to go, veteran official Dee Kantner throws it in the air, and we are underway here on the SEC Network in Tuscaloosa. Mostly man-to-man from Radford. They will throw some zone in, but they're a man-to-man team. And Alabama comes after them with a man-to-man layup is good for 2 as the Highlanders take the early lead.
Well, Kiana Johnson is really coming into her own this year because of the new role that she's had to accept as the leader of this Radford basketball team.
You see the Alabama starting 5, bottom of your screen. That includes number 40, Jasmine Walker, the basketball game at 2.
And good for her for taking the ball to the middle of the lane off the bounce and shooting a 6-foot jumper instead of depending on the three-point shot to get her going in this game.
And the starting 5 for the Radford, Virginia. A small school, the enrollment just 9,430. They are a member of the Big South Conference as Bama watches the opportunity. They cash in to take their first lead of the night.
Obviously, the point of emphasis from the coaching staff to this Alabama team, play at the rim.
Yep. Of course, Ashley Knight is the lone post player, bona fide post player. Araya Copeland still bothered by an ankle sprain. And Shelby Gibson with a right foot that is broken. Has the spot to herself. Otherwise, Bama will go small as Jordan Lewis drives to the basket. This is Ashley Knight. And there you go over top, who at 6'1" is the big presence inside right now for Radford.
It may have been about 2 years ago that last time we saw AK make that kind of a move to the basket, 3 steps out of the lane with a jump hook off of 1 bounce.
AK being Ashley Knight, as here back the other way, Aiden Rainford, very athletic post player, draws the Highlanders to within 2. Nobody comes out to meet her, and the shot doesn't go, but Jasmine Walker's taking those threes. Stop and pop for the Highlanders, and Kiana Johnson averaging double figures for the Highlanders. She is averaging 10.9 a game, and this one is drawn even at 6 aside.
Nice description right there of that move, Eli. 1-2 bounces, rising up and shooting a solid jump shot.
Abrams with the underhand lay-in for 2. Megan Abrams, who had 21 against North Carolina a couple of days ago.
Another sophomore for Alabama that continues to mature and to grow as a basketball player.
Number 5 is the little floor general, Jen Falconer. Wafong. Johnson. Working the perimeter, shot doesn't go. Ashley Knight with trying to drive through. Amber doesn't have a shot. Richardson feeds out to Jasmine Walker, and Alabama has their largest lead of the early evening, a 5-point advantage.
She is an outstanding shooter. Been a little inconsistent with it, but she really didn't make the play. That play was made right there by Amber Richardson, setting up the wide open 3-ball.
I wish I had a dime for every time in our conference call the other day that Coach Christy Curry of Alabama said the word consistent. Falconer, no good from Trey Landry Knight.
And unfortunately for the Radford team and Coach Mike McGuire, the inconsistency on his team has come from one of his best shooters, and that is Jen Falconer. and consistent with her three-point shooting. 5 of 25 coming into the game.
McGuire there, a graduate of Roanoke College. He's had a good career as an assistant coach, first at Roanoke. Then he was a head coach in high school, then went back to the University of Richmond under Michael Schaefer and became an assistant coach there for 5 years before taking over the Highlander job. Air ball grabbed by Jasmine Walker. Daisha Benjamin. Hard off the glass, no go. Down for the Highlanders. Jordan Lewis tries to drive to the baseline, but Kiana Johnson aisle away from her.
Well, Jordan Lewis has had some fantastic numbers, but believe it or not, her only inconsistency has been on 2-footers. Not finishing the layups.
And there's the reach-in foul as Amel Guafong was hit on the way by. So Daisha Benjamin picks up the personal foul. It will be her first. Christy Curry, you see, not liking that call. The officials will talk to her. She certainly loved this shot. That foul was a few minutes ago. You were never like that, of course.
No, absolutely not.
No. Around the horn with Daisha Benjamin taking the alley away and Kiana Johnson.
Do not ask Dee Kentner that question, though, if I was that way, because you might get the answer you don't want to hear.
And for Kiana, that was her one career point. Congratulations to her. 1,000 career points for number 4 in red, Kiana Johnson.
I think she knew that she was within reach of that goal, and she came out tonight to make a statement and get it done early.
And there's going to be an offensive foul as Michaela Wilson. Watch that 1,000th career point.
Coming there with a little jump stop, got the defense up in the air, and silky smooth jump shot.
Takes advantage with the tray. And the Tide is up by 6, their largest lead of the ball game. And I said that last foul was on Wilson. It was actually on Nunnally as both ladies reached in and swiped at the ball carrier. Here's Nunnally. And the foul as she tries to pivot in on Jasmine Walker.
And according to Coach Mike McGuire, the one player on the floor right now for this Radford team is the player that must really step up if this team is going to play to its full potential, and that's Sydney Lunley. 6'4", a real presence in the lane, great hands. So far this season just has not been able to find, as I said, her rhythm. Alabama better hope she doesn't find it tonight.
She's a first-team preseason all Big South Conference. But as you say, the coach told us she just hasn't performed quite that well. Shoes.
Well, immediately as she gets the turnaround, the foul on that turnaround jump shot, Alabama goes back to Ashley Knight to counter the big post player inside.
Shot from Treyland, no. Big time rebound flying in, and it's pulled narrowly by the Highlanders. Kiana Johnson. Inside Nunnally, big time shot blocking leader in Alabama history. Ashley Knight coming up large there in the battle of the post players. And there's a whistle and a foul. Will be a 2-shot. Watch this block.
And that was all ball. At least she got away with it. Nice. She does rarely foul because she's so good at, well, number one, she's really long, but she goes straight up with those long arms, and it's a real distraction to somebody trying to score in the basket, in the paint.
That was her 25th shot block this year. Last year for the whole season, she only had 20. Now, we're not even to conference play yet.
Reason being the fact that with the injuries at the post position, she had 28 minutes against Bethune-Cookman and playing her way into shape, so to speak.
Yep. She's keeping an eye on Nunley. There's Nunley peeling off from Ashley Knight for 2.
Well, that time Ashley sealed on top of the post player. The post player pushed Ashley Knight out of the lane, opening up the basket area, but a beautiful pass.
And Davis comes right back out the other way. And the SEC week after the 23.5 rebound performance against North Carolina gives Bama again a 6-point lead. And the jump with the arrow the other way. It'll be in Alabama's possession. Watch Nunley, number 50.
As I said, using her arms and her lower body to really seal the defense. And then on the other end, at least a contest, but it did not affect.
Exactly. Glad you're with us on this Friday night. Eli Gold, Rick Moody, Trey Yanity in our crew here in Tuscaloosa. Daisha Benjamin. Guafong defends. And that ball is kicked, so they'll reset the shot clock to 20 seconds. It had been down to 8.
And that is the one rule change this year in women. If it's an offensive rebound or a kick ball, the shot clock resets to 20 seconds and not to 30.
Jordan Lewis.
And Eli, right now, Alabama shooting 8 for 14 from the field, and that is absolutely killing this Radford basketball team, and it's been killing them the entire year.
And 3 of 4 from Treyland. Watch it again, the 3.
And when you give somebody that much space that can shoot the ball the way that Jordan Lewis can, it's going to be a long night.
Hannah Barber is in for Jordan Lewis now. Lewis takes a seat. Kiana Johnson brings the ball up against Hannah Barber. Wilson. Shot clock. It would have been good if it had gone. And it comes back to Falconer. And a whistle under the basket by Dee Cantner. And an offensive foul. It'll be Amel Guafong.
And let me tell you, Eli, you talk about a player with a high motor. That describes this young lady. He's leading the team in free throws attempted on the season, already having attempted 40 free throws. Nobody else on the team within 20.
She's also the #1 rebounder and had 15 points against South Carolina State and 9 against Vanderbilt. Missed a double-double against Vandy by 1 point. Big battle inside, the turnover against Alabama.
Not necessarily, but Ashley Knight released her post position a little bit too quickly, and therefore a tip pass by the big center.
I asked her who she thought the best Christmas caroler on the team was, and she told me Jordan Lewis.
Well, so Jordan gets the vote right there.
Well, they better be glad Eli wasn't there then. I tell you that, because the dude can do it now.
Last time I sang the national anthem, people from every country stood up. I'm no singer. Inside play of the Highlanders. It's a 21-14 Alabama lead. No, I'm not a singer. And a whistle. And it's a turnover against the Crimson Tide. Now Hannah Barber leaves. Amber Richardson is in.
That must have been a
second violation, yes. I guess.
On Jasmine Walker. And right now, Alabama has gone small again. And again, Araya Copeland not being in the game to substitute with Ashley Knight.
And there's not only Araya Copeland, but, you know, Shelby Gibson out for a lengthy period now. And you got to give Ashley Knight a breather.
By the way, Eli, Michaela Wilson has been the hottest player on the Radford basketball team. She has been lighting it up.
She has scored 10 or more in the last couple of games. She had 5 of 8 threes against American the other day in their last ball game,
after hitting 4 consecutive threes against Ohio State in the game before that.
In Columbus.
Yes.
Wilson. A little too strong for Sydney Nunley. Megan Abrams outside. Jordan Lewis, no. Rebound, Alabama.
And the undersized Jasmine Walker says, no, I'm taking this back outside.
8 on the shot clock. Around Nunley. Nunley didn't block the shot. She forced the altering of the approach to the basket. Boy, Nunley gets that one blocked back, and then it goes out of bounds off of Nunley. Watch this three-point before by Michaela Wilson.
Well, like I said, she's been hotter than a pistol, and I mean, you give her that kind of a look, hits her hands. If you are not making her put the ball on the floor, she's got about a 60% chance of making it as we speak.
Saw those career highs against American. She's only a fair defender, but she can do a lot of damage on the offensive side of the ball as there's a whistle underneath.
And today at practice at shoot-around, if I'm not mistaken, she tweaked her knee a little bit. If you look at her left leg right there, that reached up pretty good, and I had no idea exactly what extent it was, but fortunately for Radford, she's in the game and looking quite healthy. Up right where she has left off in the last 2 games.
Hey folks, Thursday, January 2nd, the start of women's basketball conference play. Complete coverage of every game that night. We'll whip around the conference, going to each game for the best action. You can also watch each game on the ESPN app. It all starts at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the SEC Network as Nunley goes over top of Ashley Knight for 2.
Well, apparently Coach McGuire had a pretty good talk with his post player, and she has come out with a completely different attitude, playing a lot more aggressively, especially on the offensive end, before picking up that foul right there.
But she picks up her second foul, and a nice putback by Ashley Knight. Good. And you saw the bump by Nunley for her second, and that'll send her to the bench.
And I believe that Coach McGuire is trying to get her some significant minutes in this last game before the Christmas break.
There's a travel. Turnover against Radford. It's going to be their 5th. Alabama has only 3 turnovers today. And that's something we have seen. Bama has really cut down on their turnovers in the last few games. Accountability in practice is what Christy Curry helps you learn to hang on to the basketball.
And other things as well. I could probably, because I was in shoot-around this morning, and they were bouncing around. They were getting after it in.
Yeah, the last 2 games, Bama has really cut down on turnovers. Hard off the window, no. Nice, her own rebound for Sierra Johnson. Jordan Lewis. Johnson, the return feed still gets through. Shot clock at 3. And Jordan Lewis had to hurry the shot as it goes down. Everybody on the Alabama side held their breath. The Tide cannot afford to lose another post player as that tray is cashed in by.
And Alabama cannot afford to lose number 14 out there on that three-point line.
Wilson, a 35% three-point shooter. And the roller by Brittany Day doesn't go. But yeah, this lady shoots 35% from outside the arc.
And she's shooting about 60% in the last 3 ball games.
tonight 50%, 2 of 4. That's all the math I know. I'm sorry.
Well, she is a great shooter. Let's just say it that way.
Brittany Davis. She was a member of the NCAA starting 5 last week. List each week of the top 5 players in America for that week.
Well, she earned it.
Yeah.
The North Carolina game, she came out and she really got aggressive offensively and put the team. Actually, she and Daisha Benjamin as well put the team on their back and carried them.
23 points and 5 rebounds as Megan Abrams now is guilty of the foul underneath. It'll be her first. And the first on the Tide here in the quarter.
First defense, when you're guarding somebody cutting across the lane, do not allow them to cut across your face. If they ever cut across your face, that means the player is between basketball, and obviously when the ball goes to 23, you got caught behind, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a foul.
Rainford picks up 1 substitution as Johnson leaves, and Ariel Williams, number 3, will check in from Arlington.
And the score goes from 21 to 12 to 25 to 23 very quickly.
And the whistle. And the traveling call. So a turnover on the Crimson Tide after we had just bragged on their reduction of turnover. Be their 4th. And there, a slap, inadvertent as it might have been. Brittany Davis got the face of the Highlander.
Eli, Tennessee, when Pat Summitt, he made a living off of being able to put their hands on the offensive player and guide them. And then they put the rule in about no touch.
Right.
And, man, you talk about an adjustment for everyone. But right there is the exact reason why they put that rule in. If you forearm bar somebody with the basketball and tried to guide this, he told me himself, when he made this schedule that they're playing right now, he thought he was going to have those 3 players coming back this year. And, man, when you don't have the players that you expect to have and you beat that schedule up, plus you lose all your coaches, that's a lot of change in 1 year.
Shot clock violation, and it'll give the basketball to Alabama. At this point, Bama has 12 points in the Radford has just 2 less. Normally, Bama blows the other team out in the paint. And off the bench, normally Alabama has far more bench scoring than the opposition. Tonight, Radford has 14 off the bench, Bama only 8. And there's a...
Well, Alabama has 3 bench players that really come in that are offensive-minded players, and that's Daisha Benjamin, Brittany Davis, and Sierra Johnson. And tonight, they're just not getting any production out of those 3 key people.
The bounce, and it goes out of bounds off Brittany Davis. And you know, Christy Curry talked about this on our conference call. She said, I don't know what anybody thinks about what Radford sounds like from the Big South. The name is not like North Carolina. Goes, you got to be careful against this bunch.
Well, it's called respect, R-E-S-P-E-C, especially in a game like this, the game before Christmas. And good gracious, you do not want to go home at Christmas time and have to win a game like this at home, a game that you really must have.
The inbounds with 9 on the shot clock. Guafong. Williams, shot clock at 2, 1, and it's going to be over to Lewis, and she'll run the floor. They're used to playing some big teams, Radford is. Coming to Tuscaloosa doesn't shock them.
Well, you mentioned a minute ago, this is not North Carolina, but Mike McGuire is the only 3-time Big South Coach of the Year in Radford history. He knows how to beat the Giants. He went to Salem, and defeated Wake Forest in his second season. A year later, he would take down Penn State. He's defeated schools like Davidson, Virginia Commonwealth, and Appalachian State on the way. He told me this week consistency is his team's main focus, no matter who they're playing, Power 5 or not. But Eli, you got to imagine wins like these bring a lot of respect to Radford.
If there's any question about that, back to Trey as the ball is tied up and the arrow is staying in the same direction. As Ashley Knight leaves, Jasmine Walker will come in as the substitute. 22 on the shot clock as will inbound. Staying in man-to-man. Shot doesn't go, and then the battle underneath, and it's out of bounds off Alabama. Ball goes to the Radford Highlanders.
I believe they called a foul, Eli, on Jasmine Walker.
Did they? Off the glass. And Falconer draws Radford to within a point.
You've got to know where the shooters are. Falconer is listed as a shooter. She's been struggling, but she is a fantastic shooter in her face.
And here now a chance for the Highlanders to take the lead. Johnson to the paint. Falconer. Rebound.
Well, I'm so impressed with Johnson, man. She is really breaking the Alabama defense down with a dribble and finding wide open three-point shooters.
And I'm looking across the floor from where we sit. There's all sorts of smiles on the Radford bench. Looks of concern and mouths just open watching this unfold on the Alabama bench. And here's Jen Falconer from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. They lost sight of the backdoor cutter, and Aiden Rainford lays that one in, and Rats now taking a one-point lead. They led by 2 early. Daisha Benjamin, no. Jordan Lewis, no, and the arrow's going to Radford this time.
On that loose ball run out right there. The Radford team with numbers, big-time numbers. Daisha Benjamin a little slow getting back, and you give up a wide-open layup. And as we speak, Radford takes a one-point lead.
Up Aiden Rainford. These are the kind of games when you let the opposition hang around. These are the kind that can come back and bite you when the night is done. Good ball movement. Ashley Knight blocks the pass. Richardson stops, pops, and gets the shooter's bounce.
Well, that's very capable of taking and making that little 6-foot jump shot. That's her range, and good decision right there by Amber.
Bama, though, had 4 turnovers in the last 4 minutes. They had a scoring drought of some 2.5. Nice play inside on the delay, and Aiden Radford comes in to score for Radford, and that gives the Highlanders a match of their largest lead of the night. It's 2 points. Ball is loose, turned over by Alabama. Hey, folks, stick around at halftime. A look at college football, the SEC West and their bowl game schedule. Peter Burns and Gene Chiswick from the studio coming up at intermission. That's coming your way shortly, but right now, final handful of seconds. Johnson around Ashley Knight. 4 seconds, 3, 1. Good if it goes, and it does, and we're tied. Excuse me, Alabama will have a 1-point lead.
Well, what a disappointing end to a well-played half right there. Mike McGuire, his eyes were about like softballs over there when he saw that ball. And an open court, wide open layup for Jordan Lewis to put Alabama back ahead 31-30. It's going to be an interesting game.
Very interesting second half coming up. But meanwhile, Trey Yannity is standing by with Coach Curry.
Coach, your team battled throughout the first half. They came away with the lead. Talk about your group there.
Yeah, you know,
At any point in time, she can dribble, penetrate, and set the shooters up.
Jasmine Walker getting set to inbound directly in front of us as we begin the second half here in Tuscaloosa. Look at that dapper coach right there. You see, me, they don't show him. He's got all the great threads going. You got the nice bright green tie.
Well, Eli, you got to look who I'm sitting beside. I have to do this.
That's right. The well-dressed coach must always accessorize. Here now, the feed inside. Ashley Knight gets hit as she tries to go up with it. First half statistics, by the way, across the board. There are the team numbers for you right there.
The only problem with Alabama's 12 for 29 was just the fact that I said in the second quarter they had a little spurt there where they did not have in play at the rim the way they had been playing in the first quarter.
That personal foul was the second on Guafon. Shooting the pair and makes it.
Well, I have to give kudos to Adrian Walters, the assistant coach for Alabama. Curry hired this offseason, this past
came over from Auburn.
Came over from Auburn with the one responsibility to shore up the post game for Alabama, and he's done a heck of a job.
He's really worked well with Ashley Knight, and of course was working with both Shelby Gibson and Araya Copeland until both of those ladies got hurt. Don't know when Gibson would return, if she does this year. Copeland is due back in a week or so, one would hope, after the ankle sprain. A feed inside is a handoff to Lindenfeld. Will bring it up the floor. She's had 10 points or more 3 times this year. Number 2 in red, Lindenfeld has. Falconer.
And Lindenfeld is a shooter, Eli. I mean, 72% of her field have been 3 balls, and she is shooting an unbelievable 48% from the 3 ball.
Yeah, nice feed inside, and Ashley Knight with good it off the window for 2.
And last year, I don't think Ashley Knight would have been in position to make that play. Her transition from defense to offense right there, very, very good.
8 points for Ashley. Bama by 5.
I think Ashley Knight got a piece of that shot.
Abrams. And the jump ball that's going the other way. Watch that Ashley Knight basket again.
Well, again, as she's coming down the floor, well, that was just a great play right there by Jordan Lewis, called drive, draw. She drew the defense away from Ashley Knight and just dished a little soft touch pass. Caught and finished by Ashley Knight.
In the deep corner, Falconer short. Rebound, and Ashley reaches in, and the ball goes to Alabama this time. Substitution. Daisha Benjamin is in for Christy Curry's team.
And I'm a little bit surprised that she's not subbed for Ashley Knight. She's moving quicker. She's off the floor quicker. She's dribble penetrating past the defense, doing a heck of a job.
We've got a timeout here as Daisha Benjamin puts Alabama on top by 7. It's 7-30. Early stages, third quarter.
For 2 was Daisha Benjamin and Sierra Johnson and
Brittany
Davis. And as I figured up right here, they're 3 of 13 in the game coming off the bench, which is real unusual for that trio.
Really is. Again, if you're just joining us, Alabama has led by 9. Radford is led by a pair. Alone for 3. No good off. As Lindenfeld was a bit short. Abrams losing it. Another turnover against Alabama. They go into double figures, and there's a foul.
Well, so far in the second half, Alabama been really, really good defensive end. And as you see, Ashley Knight getting back in transition on defense along with Jordan Lewis. It says, no, you're not going to get it that easy. And they throw shooter on the team for Radford to the free throw line.
Amel Guafong, who misses predictably the first. She is 22 of 40 from the strike percent and makes 1 of 2 here.
Now, Eli, the stroke that she just had,
yeah,
it would look as smooth as silk. Nice arch on the ball. And you wonder how somebody with that kind of skill can miss free throws, knowing as important as they are. But it happens.
It happens. It does. I always find it unusual that you can make a play surrounded by 3 people, but when you're standing all by your lonesome at the line, that's when you can't make it. That's what I always find remarkable.
It's like me standing over a 4-foot putt. That's about the same thing.
Yep. You got more time to think, which, as we all know, is not all of our strengths.
I'll tell you what, Kiana Johnson about that one. I mean, she's got some spring in her legs.
Oh, and that's an offensive foul. That time, Davis and Lewis collided. And an offensive foul. There's that Kiana Johnson basket. And the foul is on Ashley Lewis. Excuse me, on Jordan Lewis. It'll be her first.
Well, the problem is that you don't communicate. You see a teammate fixing to get their head knocked off, and Alabama just did not communicate, and it was what you call a blocking foul.
What anybody would call a blocking foul.
And that's a dangerous situation right there, because you leave the best three-point shooter on the court. One of the best.
Lewis. And that's traveling. All of a sudden, the turnovers are adding up. That's 13 against the Crimson Tide. Only 10 against the
Alabama practices over and over in their drills off of dribble penetration to jump stop, land on both feet simultaneously. It's a jump stop so that you can use either foot as a pivot foot. They talk about it all the time. They did not do it on that particular occasion.
That was a jump pop right there for Kiana Johnson. She now has 10 points. And missing on the bunny. And the rebound loose to Alabama. And there's going to be a foul on Amel Guafong. It'll be her third. Not a good couple of trips up and down the floor for Guafong.
Amazingly enough, how many times do you see this? A missed layup turns into a foul before you get back to half court.
That's her third personal.
The frustration, and you try to do something to make up for your mistake, and you compound the situation.
Now Hannah Barber. Davis. Ashley Knight for 2.
Another 6-footer this time. She didn't even put the ball on the floor, kept the ball up high, and the ball just rolled right off those fingertips and just tickled the twine. That was a beautiful shot.
10 points for Ashley. Her career high was 19 a year ago against Alabama A&M University. Around everyone and laying it in for 2 is Kiana Johnson.
The spark plug for Radford, keeping their team in this basketball game. 4-point lead for Alabama.
Barber to Davis. Johnson for 2.
Big shot right there for Sierra Johnson. She's trying, Eli. I mean, she really is. I've seen her diving for loose balls, getting offensive rebounds. It's not a lack of effort. It's a lack of confidence in your ability to score.
Here is Kiana Johnson. The bounce turned it over. Barber takes it away. Turnover 11 against Radford. First time ever that these two schools have met. And that's an opportunity for Jasmine Walker to catch.
With the Hannah Barber coming in, dribble penetration right there. Hand off to Jasmine Walker, who also, you have to give her credit for turning a good shot into a great shot.
8-point Bama lead. Nunley against Ashley Knight. Down. I expect we'll see Allie Craig Cruz come in here shortly. Ashley Knight needs a breather, and the whistle underneath and the foul.
Well, it's no question Ashley Knight does need a break, and then you see Allie Craig Cruz coming into the game. But Alabama not dominating, but taking an 8-point lead. 55.1 last year, first in the league, 64 so far this year, and to make it worse, in the 6 losses that they've had, points in every single loss. So the defense has definitely been their bread and butter, and that's been the thing that's been most frustrating to the Radford coach right there, Mike McGuire. A wonderful, wonderful human being.
10-point lead for Bama, their largest of the night. The shooting has just gone cold in the third quarter, and a nice play defensively.
That's what I was talking about with Sierra Johnson. Her effort is there. It's just a matter of her being able to loosen up and score a little bit and got to score.
And that's what Jasmine Walker did right there.
Well, she's taking shots tonight in this game, and you know, you can just kind of look in her face and you can tell she's really, really feeling good about where she is offensively in this game tonight.
13-point lead. Nunley for 2. Nice setup by Kiana Johnson.
Johnson with the dribble penetration. Right there, as you saw, the draw on the defense. Allie Craig Cruz steps up and leaves an uncontested Nunley right there on the block.
And timeout was called by Christy Curry. There's that block, a nice one right there.
It really is.
And the setup to Walker.
And Jasmine Walker, the rotation on the ball, the rhythm she shoots it with. You can see the ball coming off of her.
I have.
But my goodness, are they playing hard and they're playing smart. They're scoring the basketball as a Bruce Pearl team normally does, and undefeated, I believe.
And a nice lay-in there by Sierra. Their game the other night. Very few mistakes.
Well, that was a nice play by Alabama, but even more so for Sierra Johnson to have an easy one that she can score and see the ball go in the hole, building her confidence.
All alone, might as well try it, but it doesn't go for Kiana Johnson. Anna Barber. Just sprinting away to a 16-point lead, their largest of the night. Inside the final minute of the third quarter. Allie Craig Cruz over the top with the personal, her first. Watch that basket. Nice feed on the dish to Johnson. And everybody liked that. But quickly, you got to start signaling your defenses.
And Allie Craig Cruz, committing a foul, which is not a bad thing because Radford was not even in the bonus yet in this quarter, and going to the bench and bringing Ashley Knight here in the last 35 seconds.
Each team with 3 fouls here in this quarter. Nice floater off the window. Kiana Johnson, well, she's playing very, very well here tonight.
So quick with the ball, so much elevation. Landon coming up, jumping off of both feet and just nailing them.
She's got 14 points. Her career high is 19 against the Camels of Campbell. Rebound pulled down by Faulkner, and no shot gets away, and that is it for 3 quarters of play. A 55-41 Alabama Crimson Tide lead. Christy Curry
bad quarters, you're probably going to lose. Maybe if you have one bad quarter, the consistency part is the thing that Christy Curry is just, and you know, that comes with practice, Eli. The harder you practice, the better you're going to play. The more consistently you practice, the more consistent you're going to play.
No time to waste for Radford. The shot for Nunley doesn't go. Pulls down another rebound. Alabama out rebounding the Highlanders 27-15. And a nice touch.
Shoot around today. I mean, I'm serious. Coach Mike was on their tails about that very thing. You must put a body on someone when the ball goes up. Alabama doing an outstanding job.
And now injured is Sierra Johnson as the ball went out of bounds off of Radford. She seems to be clutching her left shoulder area. That's Dara McInturf coming out, the trainer, and Coach Christy Curry in the crimson top. Sierra Johnson, preseason second team All-SEC performer.
I know we're not supposed to speculate, and I'm not, except it looks like she's in pain.
She is that. Fell awkwardly. We'll end here. Watch that scramble. She falls on her shoulder. And she will now trot off the hard court, but go to the end of the bench, and she'll be checked over by the medical staff, and they are working on her left arm and shoulder.
The saddest part about that, she was just kind of getting out of her little outfit to play and have some success, because Alabama is going to need Sierra Johnson at her best.
Yeah. Davis, no. Goes over top of Ashley Knight. Bounce in, and there's a foul by Ashley Knight as she reaches around and gets a piece of Nunley. It'll be the second on Ashley Knight.
Eli, I'm serious. I've been in the league. I understand about All-SEC. It's tough to get nominated for being first or second team All-SEC, what Sierra Johnson was, and earned that right.
Exactly. Nice feed inside, and there'll be a foul on Daisha Benjamin, who then quickly says to teammate Hannah Barber, "What'd you do there? What happened?"
Well, I'm not sure who broke down, but there was a definite breakdown on that out of bounds for Radford right there. You have a player like...
Foul is on Benjamin, though, her second. Hey, folks, don't forget the SEC Network will have you covered from Atlanta for the college football playoff semifinals on Saturday, December 28th. Off with the SEC Nation pregame show at 2 Eastern, 1 Central. Then it's the LSU radio megacast of the game against Oklahoma. And we wrap up the day with our SEC Now postgame show. All the highlights, interviews, a complete game breakdown. You can watch it all on the ESPN app from anywhere. That's coming up on Saturday, December the 28th.
And Radford makes a defensive tactical move and goes to the zone.
Which is something you rarely and Bama just shoots over.
And Hannah Barber, arguably the best three-point shooter on the Alabama team, buries a three ball, and coach says no more of that.
She is 6 of 11 now from Treyland, some 56-57%. Largest lead for the Crimson Tide now goes up to 20. So Alabama all of a sudden finding the shooting eye, and timeout being taken by Coach Mike McGuire of Radford.
That's the kind of to have. I was a man-to-man coach myself, and every time it seemed like I went to a zone, somebody like Hannah would come in there and just bury
the college game, and she is back. But she, along with Violet Palmer, the first couple of ladies hired as referees in the National Basketball Association.
One of the most capable and consistent officials that I ever had the opportunity to work with.
And folks, that's coming from a former coach.
Now, don't ask her if I said that. Don't let her know. I hope she don't see this.
They steal. Daisha Benjamin, no. Flying in for the rebound, Abrams. And the putback for two.
Young lady that continues to improve. Abrams and Daisha Benjamin, two sophomores who did get to play last year, but are just now starting to look comfortable at the collegiate level.
And how about Hannah Barber, number 5 in white, 8 of 13 on the year from three-point range.
She's really worked hard too. Another one of those sophomores that did get some playing time last year, but boy, she has come around.
She had the look, that steal that she go right there, setting up the basket for Alabama. First shot doesn't go, and Megan Abrams just flies in.
Well, you call that running through the play. One would think that Daisha Benjamin had an open layup and would miss and would make it, but not Abrams. She ran through the play, got the offensive rebound, and hits the putback.
Now 0 for 6, and finally a tray. 1 second half from three-point land for Radford. And being, I think, quite honest, maybe the best chance that the Highlanders had to stay and win this game was to shoot threes, and they just haven't happened tonight. They're only 4 of 19.
I really believe in the chance.
Yeah.
They had to make shots, and their inside game, their ability to score at the rim against Alabama, not that good. And they've had plenty of wide open opportunities. They just haven't gotten it done. Well, that one's gotten it done, though. Right, continues to break the Alabama defense down. If she's going to break the Alabama defense down, she can break anybody down. Alabama's not bad defensively, but drawing the defense and just delivering passes right on the money, easy conversion for Radford.
Look at these three leaning from outside Brittany Davis. 22-point lead for the Crimson Tide, their largest of the night. And a steal inside and against Radford, 16 now. And one more for the Crimson Tide. You know, when they lose, when Radford has lost this year, they give up a lot of points. Look at this.
Well, look at the very bottom one down there. For this year, 5 games they've given up. This will be the 6th, by the way.
Yep.
Over 70 points and have lost
all of
5 of them.
See, they gave up 80 at Vanderbilt. They gave up 74 at West Virginia, 75 at home against Mount St. Mary's, 73 at Morehead State, and 70 at Columbus against Ohio State.
But the reputation for program, period, is that they are a defensive team. It is their bread and butter. It has gotten that program where it is, and frustrating for Coach Mike McGuire, because they depend on their defense to win games. But now, on the other side of the coin, they've played some really good competition.
The foul on Tina Lindefeld. It'll be her first. Yeah, 70 has been the match. Christy Curry's team hasn't lost when they've scored 70 or more. And Coach McGuire's Highlanders have not won when they yield 70 or more. 23-point Alabama lead now. And now 24.
Get you as an offensive team is when you have a couple of players that go like 2 for 12 and 1 for 7 and that kind of stuff. It can keep your team from being able to score as much when it gets to the SEC.
Hayden Rainford off the glass.
That junior college transfer right there from Canada. A first-year player as well, a player that Coach has had to throw into the lineup, and she's really responded well.
Yeah, Rainford now high. She's got 11 points for Radford tonight, a career best. She had 10 against Morehead State.
Unfortunately for Alabama, Sierra Johnson back in the game.
On the run out. And Ashley Knight. Don't see her holding the ball very often between the rings. And another three.
By Sierra Johnson, and I know Christy Curry is just praying to the good Lord that she can continue to get better on the offensive end. Like I said, she's been playing hard. I mean, offense, getting rebounds, diving for loose balls, defending well, but has just not been very consistent on the offensive end.
Bama has one more pre-conference game coming up on Sunday the 29th against South Carolina. And then you jump right into it in the conference Wednesday, January 2nd down in Baton Rouge. And timeout being taken by the Crimson Tide with a 27-point lead. The rest of the Alabama upcoming schedule at South Carolina. Home against Kentucky. We'll have that one for you right here. Then at Auburn on January the 12th. Meanwhile, for Radford, they start conference play next with the December 31st game against Presbyterian in the Big South. Then Charleston Southern at High Point at Hampton. Hampton beating Alabama earlier this year. And UNC Asheville.
But Eli, let me say, and I say this in all honesty, do not be surprised if once again at the top of their league at the end of this basketball season.
Yeah. Other teams in the Big South, other than the ones we just mentioned, Gardner Webb, USC Upstate, Longwood, Radford, of course, and Winthrop of the Big South Conference. And the basket and a foul.
Well, the most impressive thing to me about this game tonight was at half when Christy Curry was interviewed. I thought she was pretty cool, just saying what the team had to do. As you right there, you see, again, Daisha Benjamin going in, playing through contact, opportunity for a three-point play. But then the Alabama player, and immediately in the second half, begin to dominate the game the way that they were doing in the first quarter. So a less experienced team might not have done that in a game like this.
Radford is now in the middle of a nearly 3-minute scoring drought. Foul on Alabama's Destiny Rice, the freshman from Shreveport, Louisiana. Played against Mercer, plays here tonight. Now Daisha Benjamin sitting down with Amber Richardson checking in. There's Destiny Rice. Final 98 seconds of this one. Bama is pulling away in the second half with dead-eye shooting. Had that problem. They are 4 of 23 from outside the arc today. This half, just 1 of 12. And when that's your lifeblood, that makes for a long night.
Alabama coaches are very, very high on this young lady. Come here from Shreveport, Louisiana, a 5'8" freshman. Destiny Rice, a lefty. At least she plays well with her left hand.
Destiny Rice cashes in one. She was ranked number 78 in the ESPN Women's 100 coming out of North Caddo Magnet High School in Shreveport. Ariana Grizzle to Allie Craig Cruz for 2.
Allie Craig.
Inside the final minute of this one.
Not just a floater with the left hand.
33-point lead for Alabama. Rachel Lalonde, 0. The feed inside, and it won't go down for Tye Johnson.
Going back to Allie Craig, Bruce Eli was in shoot around this morning, and Of course, I try to see what the younger players are doing. You talk about working hard, being very, very vocal. She was a senior leader the way that she was, you know, a lot of players, when they're not getting the minutes that they think they should be getting or that they deserve, they have a tendency to kind of saw up and not come to practice with that attitude. But, boy, she was getting after it. So she's going to help Alabama in the long run.
Ty Johnson. So Radford's scoring drought is now better than 3.5 minutes as we're down to the final 30 seconds of this one. Alabama's going to improve to 9 up and 3 down. Radford will drop to 2 and 7. And Destiny Rice, when it's going your way, it's going your way.
Like I said, the freshman right there driving baseline with that left. Boy, you would think she was left-handed, but she finishes with that right hand and to get to the free throw line for an and one.
The foul on Rachel Lalonde.